Hey guys. Oh dear. Oh dearie dearie me, it's time for Eeltail Alley. Eeltail Alley is a long, thin, cramped stage with a bridge over the top and one point to push and retreat. There are lots of uninkable walls that make movement around the stage without being seen difficult, and flanking nearly impossible. The stage feels very claustrophobic, basically being enclosed wherever you go. I have found myself in an inescapable corner in this map more than any other, just due to the sheer quantity of them. This map has many points to stall any entry to the map or to the objective, and the bridge gives a great vantage point for vision and is higher than the routes necessary to take to get to it, so it makes it very difficult to retake. Turf War. Eeltail Turf War is, to put it lightly, not very good. The spawn area is fine, there are multiple routes to go from it. The roofs are a good snipe points for clearing people off the end of the bridge, but the roofs are too close to the end of the bridge that you can easily be taken out by weapons with any sort of range. All of the parts of the maps are extremely thin. The bridge over mid is too thin for any good movement. You either go forwards, backwards, or fall off the side, and the small block in the middle of the stage doesn't add much to fights. The middle of the map underneath the bridge is split into 4 sections, each being a small square with an uninkable wall on 3 sides, and to get from one spawn to the other you must either go over the thin open bridge that puts you in direct sight of long-range weapons, or through 3 thin choke points, one to get into mid, one to get through to the other half of mid, and one to get out. This allows for easy trapping of them, either killing anyone who dares to go through them, or straight up blocking entry to it through the use of wall, bubble, or inkvac. Matches normally turn into one team stalling access to the map through the use of bridge, giving sightline and the ability to shoot over the entire map, meaning that any attempt at a flank normally gets shot down unless a displacement special is used, which normally only displaces you as far back as the small opening to mid, meaning you can just stop them from entering mid and regroup back to the bridge. Turf War on Eeltail could be decent, but the changes necessary are coming up in a future segment, so I shall refrain from spoiling the improvements. Splat zones. Eeltail zones is very large. It's the largest zone in the entire game, being basically the entire size of mid. The size of the zone is not a positive in most aspects. First cap of the zone takes a long time, both teams constantly painting over each other and getting absolutely nowhere. It normally comes down to who can charge their paint and displacement specials first, and then causes a wipeout due to the easily trappable singular escape route from mid. This then becomes similar to Turf War, and can quite easily become a lockout situation due to the easily noticeable and easy to stop flank routes out of spawn. Because of the zone being in mid, they have changed the geometry there, and to my dismay, absolutely nowhere else. Instead of changing any of the thin entry and exit points and the terrible options out of spawn, they shortened the uninkable walls in mid to not touch the outside walls, so you're able to go around the side of the stage, and they put a small uninkable raised divider through the middle of the zone. However, they took away another movement option in its place. The bridge over the top of the stage has had its middle cut off, meaning that weapons like a roller stringer or slosher can stand on it and give constant chip damage to the enemy team if they're on the zone. The trade-off being that they are stood in one position for a long time, on an open bridge, and therefore they are very vulnerable. However, the bridge has a wall on one side that blocks non-fall-off shots, and the bridge carries on quite far over the zone, so that constant paint support over most of the zone from the bridge is very possible. This stalls gameplay quite a lot. Having a zone the width of the stage with a constant barrage of paint support and chip damage makes movement very restrictive. If the walls around the side of the stage were wider, there would be more ways to flank around, be out of the way of backlines and the weapons on the bridge over the zone, and not get camped in the small gap between the side wall and the uninkable geometry on the zone. Eeltail Zone seems to want to rely on clever movement by giving you lots of geometry in corners, but at the same time wants to stop any type of movement from happening. Tower control. There is even less bridge now. Not only has the middle part remained in 2 separate parts, but the entire horizontal part of the bridge in both spawns has been removed too. The tower is located on a raised block about 3 towers in length in the centre, with inkable walls on each side. A welcome addition. The uninkable wall in mid has been moved back to touch the outside wall, removing the ability to move around the outside of the stage and making a lot more dead ends. The exclusion of the bridge is good to keep the stage from being completely locked in mid, but the fact that the raised areas are still there means that snipers, stringers and buckets can camp the tower from high perches. In an even state it is impossible to escape mid, but as soon as a team gets a push, the map becomes extremely attacker favoured. The tower gives jumps to higher pieces of ground to step up on. An attacking special advantage makes a spooky return to further lock out the defense, and normally pushes go from 100 to 0 very quickly. Rainmaker. In my opinion, the best that eeltail has to offer. The bridge layout here actually works, with the tower control block placed at a 45-degree angle to meet up with the rest of the bridge, with the Rainmaker shield placed on it. From there are two paths to go: over the bridge to the left checkpoint, or under the bridge to the right checkpoint. The left checkpoint is the most popular, an easier route where you aren't at a height disadvantage, and you can stall for points using the bridge height advantage to force shield pop, or grab the Rainmaker after pop, or shark in the ramps next to it and grab it when no one's looking. The uninkable path near the goal helps with stopping the Rainmaker from going too fast. It's there in every mode, but it only really matters in this one. The faults of eeltail are still here in this mode, but the layout complements the mode more. Clamblets. It's the Rainmaker layout without the checkpoints and clams all over the place. This exaggerates the thin mid and the trappable corners by having the clam spawns very close together and in the side pockets of the map. The bridge flank and the side ramp are the only real ways to score clams, because the intended route is a major choke point that can easily wall out pushes. When pushes do happen, sometimes the defenders can be left without a retreat option due to the ramp back to spawn having been taken out. This map mode is perfect for sharking weapons that can sit in the corners of the map and take advantage of its cramped nature, taking out anyone who goes near them to collect clams, but some slower weapons don't work very well here. Tricolour eeltail is fun. The sides are open, the bridge has more ways to get to it, the routes out of the defender's spawn have multiple paths and inkable walls, the bridge is a great path instead to prevent it from locking out too much. The map, from my experience, is decently balanced. I have won both defending and attacking battles in relatively even proportion. The blocks to get to the bridge are paintable in all but one place, to prevent people from getting to the bridge too easily. The spawns are large enough to give a good paintable area for the attackers and easy access to mid for the defenders. The open area under the bridge is really nice to move around in, and makes the stage a lot more fun when you aren't completely boxed in by large uninkable walls. Sometimes the stage is attacker or defender favoured, but only in very lopsided games, and the sprinkler placements are fair for both teams, making it risky to go into the attacker's base for the defenders, but not painting over the defender's area until the second sprinkler is got by one team, and if that happens, then the defenders had no chance anyway. Eeltail is the best variation it could be in this mode, and for Turf War, with a few changes it should definitely be the default layout, and in other modes they should definitely take notes of the wider sides, paintable walls, and altered great bridge and ramps leading to it. In short, eeltail sucks, but then some of the modes alter it and it makes it good. Yippee!